the basic way which we anticipate this to being sort of installed and controlled in most applications, or controlled, is by connecting the EnergiVault gateway to the on-site billing management system. And in the case of the quotient demonstration system that we showed in the photograph before, that's exactly how we operate this. So effectively what we're doing is connecting our own control module to the BMS and taking instructions from that. Now, that can be set up in probably one of several ways. One, where there are more than one chillers on the site, effectively what we can do is the BMS treats the EnergiVault thermal battery as a chiller with a certain capacity. So it can say, okay, we'll set EnergiVault to be chiller 3, let's say on a 2 chiller system. So in other words, when the main chillers aren't or unable to deliver the demand, then EnergiVault comes in and supports that demand as effectively the 3rd chiller. On the other hand, the system can be set up so EnergiVault is the primary chiller. And in fact, we've done that in some tests recently by basically, because the early part of the year, then the demand was relatively low, there was actually a relatively sort of modest demand, which allowed EnergiVault to satisfy all of the demand for several hours. So in that case, the BMS sees or is controlled and sees the EnergiVault as the primary chiller, chiller number 1. So effectively, you're basically using the BMS to determine what sequence of chiller capacity is brought online, and whether it be the primary chillers or whether it be EnergiVault, and you can mix and match when that comes on. Similarly, you can do that by the BMS again setting the temperature at which it wants each of those chiller elements to come on. So fundamentally, you're connecting the EnergiVault to the existing BMS, and the BMS remains in control of the overall chiller plant, but it knows what the available capacity in EnergiVault is, and it can determine when and how it deploys it. Now, throughout the year, there may be, well, in fact, there are different priorities. So again, using the quotient example, at the early part of the year when the demand is lower, because obviously the ambient conditions are not as hot, then you might see EnergiVault as the primary chiller more often than not, because it can operate at least for 3 or 4 hours, and therefore it could be operated as a primary chiller between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, for example, thereby avoiding the high cost GEOS charges, distribution charges in the UK. During the summer, it may be that it's set up as the support chiller number 3, so it effectively ensures that the maximum or the demand is met, and that acts as a support chiller. So throughout the year, the BMS can configure it and set it up in a different way to deliver the optimum performance and optimum savings. So yeah, so
Okay.
effectively it connects to a local BMS. A long answer to a short question.